So the only things that are changing is by this point, once again, staying conservative, you're at a 0.7 of 1% conversion rate, still staying very conservative. Okay. Average sales price is the same. Commission rates are the same. This is all the same. What you'll notice is your expenses aren't increasing at all, right? Because they're the same numbers. And now you get down here. These are all the same calculations, your monthly net income. This is annualized for that year. Your ROI on this 12 months is 28%. Okay. That's not exciting either, right? $899 a month. Now let's get over here to your final 12 months, which is taking you to the 2.5-year mark. Still 100 leads. Now you've got, I'm just staying with this formula of 0.35 plus 0.35 plus 0.35, right? So just keeping everything in sequence, still well below 1.2% conversion rates. All the numbers in the calculations are the same. Your monthly expenses are the same. Here's your net income. Here it is annualized. Here's your ROI for that time period. And when you come down here and look, you go, okay, well, that was a 40% return on my investment. My net profit was $39,000 over 2.5 years. So not that exciting, right? That's about 13,000, right? Per year. That's not going to get you that excited about it. And that's what's happening, guys, because people are just looking at this and they're keeping their leads the same. They're saying online leads don't work, internet leads don't work, not having success. I don't know, what's going on. Now let me show you the difference. So you start, and here's the only change we're going to make. You start with 100 leads a month in these first 6 months, so that everything over there stays the same. Now you come to your next tier, and here at this inflection point is where you double your leads. You go to 200 leads a month. And then again, when you get to month 19 in your, not your final year, but you're in your, and we could scale this out, 5-10 years, but this is for the purposes of this example, your final year of this example, we double our leads again to 400. Now I want you to come down here and see what the difference is. $225,000 in net profit, 128% return on your investment. And the only thing I did differently is double your leads from 100 to 200 and from 200 to 400 so you could scale slowly along the way. Now you're at $225,000, not in income, in net profit. And that is really the only change we made, was just understanding at what point in this process of building your business do you double your leads and then double them again. And if I take one more example, so this could be for a solo agent who's growing, but if you were a team and you started at 200 and went to 400 and went to 800 here, you're almost at $500,000 in net profit. And that seems like, insane, right? Like looking at these numbers and understanding this, but there's nothing in here. This is all transparent math in what we're looking at. And guys, even if you change this to 0 in your first 6 months, look what happens. Look where your net profit is. Even if I say, you know what, I'm not going to have a single closing in those first 6 months. First 6 months on a single closing from these leads. But over time, with still sticking with the formula of doubling your leads, look where you end up in terms of profitability. Look where you end up in terms of income, staying conservative with your closing rates. And there's a lot of room in here with these conversion rates. I mean, if I dial this down, I'm still at 447 if I'm at a 1% closing rate 2 years into the future. Okay, so what is the message here? The message is 2 things. One, agents usually give up too early because we're generally speaking, no one on this webinar, but generally speaking, we're short-sighted and we're anxious, right? We want things to get working and to get working quick. We have opposite momentum because, opposing forces because we're 100% commission, right? We need things to kind of work. We need things to work kind of fast because that's the way we earn our money, because we're 100% commission. But the reality is, when you're building this type of model in business, you have to treat it as such and create these systems and processes and understand where to increase your lead volume and your lead count in order to achieve these kinds of results. Because your SOI business, your sphere business, that should be 70% of what you're doing anyways, right? Your database, your sphere, your sermons, that's exactly what you should be doing every day anyways, right? We are here to help you supplement and build this business into an entire business unit to produce amazing ROI and income for you. And so I hope that, and let me just pull this down here. So this is, a spreadsheet, but this is what it's going to this is what it's going to look like when I'm, it's not going to let me do it because I'm sharing my screen. But anyways, I've got a much more user friendly version of this that doesn't look like this specific calculator, which I said I'll be able to bring out to you guys. If you're interested in a copy of it, anybody that's on the webinar. I feel like it's been a game changer for this business. You can use this as a solo agent. You can use this as a team. You can use this if you're doing the team ridge model. We don't probably have enough time to get into it today, but when I was talking through Matt, it's like showing like solo agent examples where these broker splits are like 80%, right? They're much higher. Then you need fewer leads because you're on an 80-20 split with your brokerage if you're a solo agent, or an 85-15 or whatever it might be. Well, then this broker split, you're getting a higher percentage of that anyways, right? So you can start a little bit smaller. It's just about scaling. That's the message.
That's one of the number one things that we see people come in. They make the mistake of wanting to just dip their toe into online lead generation. The challenge with that is that your fixed costs are your fixed costs. They don't increase as you scale lead gen.
That's right.
And so the variable piece, which is the lead gen, is what's providing the revenue for the business. So you've always heard it said, right? You got to spend money to make money. Well, this is a prime example, right, of where dipping your toe in the water is the worst thing that you can do, because you're basically setting yourself up for meager returns and leaving on the table the most scalable and profitable part of your business, which is investing in leads, right? And we see that time in, time out. People, especially in these markets, when things are a little bit lean, right? Like, people want to naturally figure out, how do I start to reduce my variable costs? And they go to leads because they say, well, there's not as many people looking. But I've got some great examples, real life examples, to show of how we've actually seen the differences, right? The diverging mindsets between those that said, hey, I'm going to pull back when things get tough, and those that said, no, I'm going to continue to invest in lead gen. And then those that said, no, I'm going to double down, right? And I get it. That's a scary thing to do in this market. But no, Ro, I really appreciate you walking us through that calculator. Again, it falls perfectly in line with the same data that we're seeing over here at Sync.
Yeah, and what Matt stated, right, which is like it's your startup cost, right? You're getting your CRM, you're getting your leads, you're getting everything. All of that is kind of going into generally a fixed expense. So once you're already have 100 leads, to go from 100 to 200 is a much smaller percentage, right? Because you've already have those fixed overhead costs that are going into it. And so to scale, it doesn't scale at the same rate, which is why you saw on the calculator, your expenses are only going up 2 times or 3 times, but your income is going up 10x. That's where the scalability happens.